these are the kind of sessions that we looked at, and we looked back. You know, looking back is not really a very good thing of new media people. There's hardly any history written, as we know. There's not so much history about literature about the history of the internet, let alone about this emerging profession of web design. There's no theory of web design. There's no coherent critical kind of vocabulary. So we lack a lot of things, and you can also see that. I'm really concerned about this when you're talking about the kind of level of teachers. So these are teachers that really have good technical skills, but do they really go beyond that? And if you have really good ones, they usually come from graphic design or some neighboring discipline, right? And which then is also complicating matters. So there's an enormous challenge here. How should the teacher of tomorrow, the new media teacher, how should he or she look like? What kind of skills should they have? So we're kind of really constantly working on that issue, and it is related to a broader concern, namely how all these new media students, these youngsters that all want to have their own firm, how should they look at themselves as professionals? Huh? The whole world of the internet is in fact moving away from the professionals and is celebrating the amateur, right? And this is a very contradictory move that we see happening right now, especially with the Web 2.0, where there's an enormous enthusiasm and celebration of the amateur, and very, very little has been done, and there's even a slight dislike or disgust about the people who in fact aspire to become professionals. If you look at the big sites, MyTube, MySpace, YouTube, and all these, Facebook, you name it, these are all driven and made for the youngsters, and there's no real space for aspiring professionals. And this is, of course, related to this whole issue that is mentioned here, digital work, which is related then to the whole debate about immaterial work, precarity. How do people really deal with this fast-changing environment where the status of the freelancer is really problematic. No health care, no pension, nothing. You can be in, you can be out at any moment of the day. Okay, so these are the kind of the concerns that all these schools that we see, all these new media programs that have been in place, are now slowly confronting themselves with. After they have dealt with the question, what is new media or what is the internet, and have speculated about it, have maybe criticized it, have theorized it. We are now, in fact, dealing with a first, second, or third generation of students that are actually out there on the labor market. And okay, so there's a lot that should kind of be looked into there. And we've kind of last year we followed up this this spread of research with this conference, and this was another initiative. This is an emerging network of creative industries researchers, people who do critical work in this field. Maybe you're familiar, have sometimes heard about Richard Florida's book, The Creative Class, and you've maybe heard about city marketing, competing cities that try to lure the young creatives to their places. In Europe, it's particularly fierce fight between London, Berlin, and Barcelona that try to attract the youngsters. And okay, so this is the whole issue of creative industries. And again, this is an aspect where it is all about the question of, do you really buy into all these schemes of intellectual property rights? Do you believe in that? Do you reject it? Do you follow more like the open access, open content, open source line here, which is in fact what most young people tend to do? Or do you lock yourself into one of the big media companies that have organized themselves still in a very traditional economic setting? We've dealt there also with the rise of China as a creative nation, which we think is a very important development, where we should no longer just look down on China as the manufacturer of the world, but very soon China will also be center stage when it comes to patents, intellectual property rights, and creativity, arts, and design. So, so we asked ourselves, you know, why do all these people actually, why all these young people actually want to give away their content for free? What is the kind of underlying economy that we're facing there? And this huge tension that is arising between this free gesture of giving away and the urge of an ever-growing amount of people that are working in this industry, and how are they ever going to make money if it is the rule, if it is obliged from you to give away everything you make for free, right? Maybe you can recognize some of the names or some of the topics that you have heard about. The Italians, in fact, play a very, very important role in this field, more in the background. They're not explicitly working on this kind of UK, Australian, US topic of creative industries per se, but they are no doubt delivering the theoretical underpinnings for the critical research that is being done. And now I'm particularly speaking about, of course, Michael Hart and Negri, but more specifically about people like Mauricio Lazzorato, Paolo Virno, but also younger scholars like Matteo Pasquinelli and Tiziana Terranova, who has written this wonderful book, Network Cultures, that really comes very close to the kind of agenda that I'm presenting here tonight. Last but not least, we see that there's an enormous need in this field, not only for theorization, but for detailed case studies. Because we're talking here about localities, about urban restructurings, and very fierce kind of branding of cities and competition between cities, just in terms of tourism, in terms of marketing their coolness. It is really important that we come up with detailed studies. And we, in this case, have presented research here about cities such as Vienna, Basel, Barcelona, Rotterdam, Berlin, and London. And this is going to come out in 2 months as a book. We hope to finish it shortly. Maybe you already get now an idea about the kind of research that we do, or the type of methodology that we're following. What we do is we identify an emerging topic, and we try to bring together a network, an open network of scholars, theorists, critics, artists, activists, designers. Yeah, of course, it depends a little bit on the context. You know, who is interested in it. That, of course, differs a little bit. But then we create kind of online forums for it. Usually, it's the first time that these people actually meet. They vaguely may have heard about their works, and we organize a conference about it. We support this with publications, both offline and online. And then we follow up.